Whoa, whoa, whoa. Wait up, nerds. If you're having as much fun as we're having,
Oh, yeah, we're having fun.
then please give us a like, follow us, tell your friends, follow us on Twitter at Nerdbuzzed, follow us on Facebook, leave us a comment, share a story with us, something you want us to talk about, fuel the nerd fire, and
Yes.
as always, you can go to nerdbuzzed.com.
You know they can find us on nerdbuzzed.com, man. But you know what we need?
What do we need?
We need some beer.
Of course. On with the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Nerdbuzzed!
Nerdbuzzed doesn't condone the consumption of alcohol by any persons under the age of 21. Please drink responsibly.
Welcome to Nerdbuzzed, episode 70, the podcast where we talk about all the nerdy stuff that we care about and drink a cool, frosty beer while we're doing it. I'm your host, Marcus Ellinger, and with me as always,
Jeremiah Johnson.
and we have a guest in the nerd room today on the cast, N64 Josh, at N64 Josh.
Yes, on Twitter, yes.
Yes. So, welcome to the nerd room.
Thanks for having me. It's hot in here.
It is.
Yeah.
It's just going to get hotter.
I'm going to be sweating a lot by the end of this.
Crack a window.
Yeah. With three studly dudes, it's just going to get hotter.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, all the balls we were just touching a second ago. I mean,
And it just got weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
Switch things up here.
Yeah. So,
on the switch.
yeah,
Yeah.
we totally are digressing here to the most important part of the cast. We always go over to Jay.
For the beer.
It's my favorite part.
Today it is Whitbeer Brothers Bourbon 11. Or is this 12?
I think it's 12.
12.
Oh, this is 12, yep. Bourbon 12. So it's the Bourbon 12. I put 11 on the website, so I'm going to have to go fix that.
Nice job.
Yeah, thanks. It's a barrel-aged version of their bourbon, part of their alchemy project. So
And oh my god, it smells like a barrel.
you can definitely smell the barrel. 9.4%. It smells sweet. It smells like an oak barrel.
Yes.
It's, yeah.
So we had the, a couple episodes ago, we had the barley wine.
Yes.
This is kind of more what I expected that to smell like or be like, right? And that
Exactly.
barley wine was awesome. So I'm a little nervous about this. I think it's going to be super sweet, and we'll see, right?
The color looks amazing, though.
And it's got pretty good. I guess it's got a little bit of a cloudy, but not bad. Man, I can't get over the smell of this thing.
I think I'm going to get a cavity.
I'm going to get a sliver in my nose if I keep smelling it.
That or diabetes, I think.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So, to all the nerds,
Through all the fuzz,
bottoms up. Let's get nerd buzzed. Clankety clank. Or just drink,
Or just leave
whatever.
us hanging, bud.
Yeah, we're not offended.
I just wanted the cavity.
We'll
you
have him
watch the
back
show
for sure.
before you
Yeah,
get
yeah.
I listened.
And you didn't hear the clank?
I thought it was a sound effect.
Oh no, it's all real. It's all analog on Nerdbuzzed. Oh man,
It's pretty dang sweet.
it's super sweet.
I feel like this one's just put it down as fast as you can.
I don't know about that, but it's pretty sweet. The barrel flavor does come
It
through
tastes-
incredibly
yeah.
strong.
I feel like a woodchuck or something. It's very, very oaky. I'm assuming it's oak. It's oak barrels. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a Kentucky bourbon barrel.
Nailed it.
So, and a bourbon barrel is only a one-time pass barrel, so they're still pretty fresh.
It's different. Maybe it'll warm up and be a little bit. Things will settle in a little bit as it warms
Some of
up.
the sweeter beers, higher alcohol, can tend to do that, but I don't know. We'll see.
I definitely got the vanilla.
There is the vanilla, and that's coming from the oak barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it a new favorite? We'll see, right? We'll see.
So, to be fair, what is your favorite? What is your go-to beer? Okay, well, what's your
Style,
favorite? Then
at
what's your
least.
go-to?
Yeah, it's going to be IPAs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to the
IPAs all the time. Probably my favorite would be out of the Old School Brewing,
I'm not familiar with them.
in Winthrop.
Okay.
Yeah, they have like the Rude Awakening IPA and their Imperial IPA, and then they used to do a bunch of different like session IPAs, and so
Nice.
and they're like, I mean, they win national championships with their beers. It's really good stuff. So
Nice. I'll check them out sometime.
yeah, I definitely would check them out there, and you can get them locally. You can get them at Hagen.
Wish I still had my
Not a
motorcycle.
sponsor.
I could make a ride
Yeah.
over there.
I prefer that you said it's singular, because my biggest issue with Hagen is when people are like, I gotta stop by Hagen's, and I was like, why are you going to more than one?
Yeah, I can't stand that either. There's never been an S.
Yeah, there's never, right? Unless you're going to more than one, right?
Right.
It's acceptable.
Yeah.
Right? Jedis. So we're gonna keep drinking it.
They're not Cyclops.
We'll
It's
see.
fine.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So last week I completely neglected to say what our nerd play was gonna be, our next one, and we are gonna play Tearaway Unfolded, and I'm really bummed that it has the Unfolded in there, because I really was hoping it would be a cross-buy and I could play it on my Vita, because I've heard nothing but amazing things about Tearaway on Vita. And of course, the one that they give us for free is the one that doesn't sell as good, and so we have to play it on PS4.
Can't you, with your Vita though, can't you just play your...
Yeah, but it takes... So the one that was on the Vita has all these like touch sensors and all these like these extra little sensors on it, which the game utilizes really well on the Vita. And there's so many games that put that in there, but it's like gimmicky, right? Like I wish I could just hit a button to make the guy jump instead of touching the back of the screen or something. It's really stupid. But in Tearaway, they're all really relevant to the game. And of course, they're going to make you still buy that one because that's the one that everybody cares about, and they give us this one for free. So, but we're still going to try it, and we'll see. I've never actually played it on the PS4. I just know it doesn't have all the extra little touch features, right?
And it's not free. It still costs us $50 a year.
No, that's
$60
true.
a year.
That's true, I guess. Yeah.
You 50.
Yeah. Because I bought it early. I bought like 3 years of it early because I could get it for $10 less.
Oh, always buy that stuff on Amazon. Like, watch it. It'll drop to $39 almost
Oh, yeah.
3 times a year. It'll be there.
Nice.
Well, and I think it was...
Oh yeah, sorry. They had their what was it? Their daily deals thing comes up, and it's like so many of these remaining.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've already seen it on there for the $50 again, because they just was it the end of last year they raised it to the 60 instead of 50.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I got in just under the wire for I got one more year at the 50. So
nice. Well, and like we said, it'll be cheaper on Amazon again. So then we roll into nerdy stuff. Did you do anything nerdy as our guest, Josh? You want to throw something on the table? Let me guess. You've been playing with balls in your hand a bunch?
We did that. I got to watch you guys go at it for like...
And do some
This
serious
just sounds
milking.
bad, like all around. I don't even know. How do we bring this back? Yeah, we played the Nintendo Switch, brought that along, and played 1-2 Switch, and you get to basically count the balls that are rolling around inside the Joy-Con.
yeah.
And
Which it does really well.
Yeah,
that HD Rumble is crazy. Like I everybody I let try it, they're like, how is it doing this? Especially like older people, they're like, what is this newfangled magic? They're just
Trying to find the BBs in there.
Yeah. Like, what? How's it know? How's
It
it
doesn't
doing
rattle when I
this?
shake it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, but I mean, it's definitely cool. The thing I've been like nerding out on the most is Zelda. Like so much Zelda.
Nice.
Breath of the Wild has just been. I mean, it took me 20 plus hours just to unlock the map and find. I'm guessing at this point, but probably 45 of the 120 shrines that are in that game. And essentially the shrines become fast travel points, and they're all mini dungeons. It's just a real quick, like, single puzzle. Maybe there's 2 things you have to do, and then once you unlock that, you get an orb that every 4 orbs turns into an extra heart container or an extra piece of your stamina. So that's... I won't talk any spoilers, but I mean, as soon as you see the game,
we're all about spoilers on this.
yeah, no spoilers. And but there's these large creatures that you have to go and basically they're basically the dungeons. I've only done 2 of the 4 so far.
The major dungeons.
Basically, yeah. And so
Do you find a new weapon in each dungeon?
No, nothing like that.
Because that's pretty typical Zelda.
Yeah, that's the thing with this Zelda is it's. I mean, are we cool going in on this for a little bit? Like,
Yeah.
No, that's
okay,
fine.
all right.
What'd you do nerdy? Let's get nerdy about it, right?
We're gonna get nerdy then. So, what this game did when you start out in boxers, which are very stylish boxers for Link. I don't know what I was really
Do they
surprised
have like the
weren't.
Triforce on them?
No, but they're like Calvin Klein. Like there's like 4 or 5 different pieces of fabric sewn together. Like these.
I don't know. They're,
Nice.
You know,
High-end
and they're like boxer
but
briefs.
they're only 720p. How can you tell?
Well, I'm a fan of the boxer brief. I mean, if
true.
we're putting it out there, that's the way to go. And it makes sense because he only wants to be jingling around so much while he's swinging his sword and
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, and it's great if you don't have shoes on. When you kick open a chest, you stub your toe and bounce on it for a
That's
second.
hilarious.
Yeah.
I like that.
So anyway, you start the game. You come out of this chamber, like a cave in the woods, basically. You can grab a stick for a weapon, and then at that point, you go where you want. Like, you literally can complete the game in 15 minutes if you have the thumb skill, but I don't. So far, nobody's done that. It's going to be interesting to see, like what the speedrunners do with this game, because it's really designed for them almost. The way you could skip tons of stuff. Just...
Yeah.
You know, the record right now that I know of, I haven't checked it since it came out, was 3 hours and 39 minutes.
Wow.
But anyway, you see these, you start, and instead of like going here, getting this, and doing all those like, I mean, I don't know if you guys played Twilight Princess, but it was like fetch quest after fetch quest. It was out of control. Like,
I was not a huge fan of Twilight Princess.
Yeah, and I guess once you got past that, it was actually really good, but I think I made it almost to that point, and I was playing it on the Wii, and I'm like, I can't swing this Wii remote around anymore. It's just not for me. So
Yeah.
This one, you start out and you have to go to these shrines. It teaches you about these shrines, but these shrines unlock a set of things, and I won't even go into what they do. But once you have those, you can pretty much accomplish any puzzle in the game, and so you eliminate things like the hook shot, and there are boomerangs, but a boomerang is used as a melee weapon, or you can throw it just like every other melee weapon. And if you want to catch it, you have to hit A when it comes back to you. It's not just like
that's kind of
it's
cool.
not just like throw it and it comes back. If
Nice.
you move, it's gonna fly by you, and then you're standing there without a weapon. So you got to run and go pick it up. And there's like large boomerangs, there's small ones, that kind of stuff. And you find throughout the game that there's different puzzles you have to throw stuff at or whatever. So basically you kind of do all the like Zelda like cliche things in probably the first 20 minutes, half hour, maybe hour of the game, depending on how much you just kind of walk around and want to explore stuff. After that, it's a completely open world game. Just go do your thing. Like whatever you want. Like I said, I just wanted to unlock the map. There's giant towers. When you hit the tower, it kind of like an Assassin's Creed thing where that then opens that part of the map.
Yeah.
And then you go around on that section and you have to find the shrines. Like they aren't visible. There's nothing visible. You might see it from the tower, like visually, but it's when you open your map, you're not going to see that thing until you've unlocked it.
Can you mark things on the map?
You have 5. So when you have like a binoculars. Kind of, it's weird. Like
I accidentally used those.
Yeah, so
I did a lot of things by accident.
It's called the
when I was trying
Sheikah
to play
Stone. Yeah, so he has the Sheikah Stone, which kind of looks like the Switch or the Wii U gamepad, which is funny. And he kind of holds that up, and it becomes binoculars, and you can set a waypoint, and then you can also from your map set stamps in different locations as well. So, and the stamps are like there's a sword, like I didn't beat this guy right here, so you set the sword, or there was a treasure chest here, but I couldn't unlock it, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So you can go back to it. And and then the other thing I've been really nerding out on is if you guys are watching this, I've got 3 amiibo set up.
Yeah, I see that.
I am an amiibo.
I have never dabbled with amiibo at all.
Or
watched...
probably Nintendo in the past.
Oh, okay,
How many consoles?
Don't get angry with me, but the last Zelda game I actually played.
Nintendo fans aren't angry. You're cool. It's cool.
Yeah, right. All Nintendo fans are almost as cute as Nintendo.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
The last Zelda game I actually played.
It's true. You're adorable, Josh.
I try. Cuteness is my number one goal.
Was Ocarina of Time. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you ended on a good one. Right? I mean, really, it's the second highest Metacritic game of all time, I believe.
I like Ocarina. I remember when it came out, I was so into PlayStation at the time that I remember graphically it was a little bit harsh, but it's so classic Zelda. It's one of my favorite Zeldas, but I've already told you my hands down favorite Zelda is Wind Waker. I love Wind Waker. I was when we were talking about it, my favorite way to play was on my GameCube with my Game Boy Advance plugged into the second controller slot. So I got all my little. It would tell you where there was like secret treasures in the ground and stuff.
Yep.
And then I would have my wireless Wavebird, and I played the crap out of that game, man. I played it so much. I think I beat that game like 3 times.
Tingle Island.
Tingle or something?
Tingle Island, wasn't that the thing on the Game Boy? You could...
Yeah, and it was like he would tell you as you ran around the little... what was the guy's name? The little green...
Tingle.
Dude. Tingle, that was him.
Yeah.
Right? He would say something on it, and he'd be like, hey, there's something here or whatever, and then you could pick up your Game Boy Advance, and it would like map it in, and you'd be able to like get... As you got closer, it would like tell you and whatever. It was a lot of fun. So I would dominate. I lived in the... It's when I had a bunch of roommates, and they'd all get pissed because I dominate the TV for a month, right? Nobody could do anything. They couldn't even play my Advance because I was using that, right? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure last time I checked, it's my game or my GameCube TV, and my name's on the lease.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You can go to the movies.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Move along. Anyway, so Amiibo, I'm like hooked on these things. I've been collecting them since they launched.
People are like beyond nuts for these things.
Yeah, like even the ones that are sitting right here. We have the Wolf Link from Twilight Princess, the 8-bit Link, and I always call him Gandalf because I'm like I get Lord of the Rings stuck in my head, but it's Ganondorf. That's probably close to $90 to $100 in Amiibo right there.
Oh, nice.
Geez.
Because they're just. So I have every one of those in their package at home.
Plus these ones that you play with.
And then now I went and on OfferUp and somebody was selling the Ganondorf for $5, so I went and medley Ganondorf $5 cash so I could, because he unlocks a sword in the game that you can only get from him. Essentially, they're all DLC.
So I'm trying to figure out, how did you leave Twin Blackstreaks with that little car to get there?
I'm not sure. I got the hole in the floor like Fred Flintstone. I just run as fast as I can. But so 8-bit Link, you unlock basically the hero.
So it cost you a new pair of Nikes too.
It did. Yeah. It I guess it was more than $5. But
yeah.
But you unlock the hero's tunic and hat and pants. So you unlock basically his costume by scanning him in. But it's RNG. It's you scan it in once a day, and a chest falls out of the sky, and then you open it and you hope. So far, I've only got the tunic. I don't have anything else. But then once a day with the Wolf Link, you scan him in, you have Wolf Link coming along with you. Now, if you play that Wolf Link with Twilight Princess on the Wii U, you can level it up to 20 hearts. And then when you scan him in on Breath of the Wild, he has 20 hearts and will...
Oh, that's cool.
But you can only do him once a day. So if he dies, he only starts with 3 hearts. He's gone. So now I'm like debating, do I open that game and just, because I think it's something you can start right away. It's just a different little side quest. And so, but then people sell those on
make
eBay.
A save point so you can just do that.
Yeah,
right?
I'm thinking about it. But people sell them on eBay for like 50 to 60, $80 that have the 20 hearts on them already.
Yeah.
Good to go.
Wow.
Yeah. So I happened to walk into Best Buy and see the Wolf Link, and I was like, my wife's like, how many more of these things are you going to buy this week? Like, this is out of control. I'm not even going to tell you how many I bought this week. It's bad. It's bad. The addiction is real.
Yeah. And again, it just adds to the Nintendo cuteness.
So the Amiibo is a game in its own, or is it just enhancements for games you have? Or
so when they came out with Super Smash Bros. And they released an Amiibo for every character.
Okay.
There's only 3 left to come out. I'm only missing... including those 3, 10. And I think the number's up to, I think there's 50 to 60 characters in that game. I don't remember the exact number, but it's a lot. It's a lot. And
this is about to turn into like a therapy session.
Yeah, I know. It really is. Let's, is there a couch I can lay on real quick? And, but what we do in that game, or with the Amiibo with that game, is you essentially would scan it in and you would level it. So as you played the game, it would level. And then you could have one, I could have one. We could actually just put them together and let them fight and see who would win. So like I went to the Screw Attack Gaming Convention in Texas, and they had Amiibo cockfights. And this little kid had one of these things that was all carved up, looked like a minion. I mean, it looked awesome. Like it was really, really cool. I don't remember what character he was, but he had to go against someone else. And if you lost, they destroyed your Amiibo.
oh no!
Well, this little kid lost, And they're literally there with a blowtorch, like melting.
Oh, you don't even. It's not even like pink slips.
No.
Like you don't get to keep it.
No,
It just, you
and
watch
his
it get
dad's
destroyed.
like holding him back as he's like
man.
crying, like, "Please don't destroy my minion." And so,
Wow.
I know it's twisted, but it's funny. And
They're enjoying that way too much.
so,
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
I mean, essentially,
That kid
they're-
needed a couch too.
he did. He's going to for sure. They're basically like.
Are you kidding? Dude, he's going to have so many minions next year.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
he's going to come back. He's going to mow lawns. He's going to save
Yeah.
up all his money. And he's going to have these amiibos that are just stacked.
There's probably a GoFundMe for
It's
him
very,
right now.
yeah, right. Totally. Yeah. This is very. This very much fits
Yeah, kids don't
the
want it. What are they
Pokemon Nintendo mentality. You've got to get them all, right?
Yeah, and there's cards.
Yeah.
There's also cards.
Jeez.
And you use the cards to unlock, like in Animal Crossing, you unlock items to decorate your house. So, like, my wife and my girls are all into that. So, like, we have a stack of cards. Every amiibo works in Zelda, even if it just gives you food and items that you can cook with. So, I've literally sat on my couch and just scanned, like, 100 of these amiibo at
Okay,
one
yeah.
time.
That's DLC I can get behind. It's tangible. You do something with it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but then you can't find, like, some of these things came out in 2014. The Toon Link and the Sheik, the two of them together are $150. And
Yeah.
so
I've heard
Wow.
that you can find them, but they're just ridiculous expensive.
and that kind of pisses people off because now they're locked out of content, right? Unless, I mean, I have buddies that literally have been on like my podcast and stuff. They've like Zelda has cost them $700 because they went out and bought the entire collection of Smash Amiibo.
Wow.
And it was like all because of this game. It's like,
Yeah.
that's crazy. But they're they're happy about it.
I was I can see me doing that though.
That kind of like brings me to like my biggest question for like a Super Nintendo fan, right? Which clearly Josh is.
Yeah.
What do you think the success of the Switch would have been remotely as successful had they not pushed Zelda to release with it?
No, I mean, it's interesting because like they said from the beginning of Zelda Breath of the Wild, this is a Wii U game. It will not be on our new console.
Yeah. And then even when they announced with the Switch, as we got closer and closer and closer, they kept emphasizing it's not going to come with Zelda, right? But Zelda was all they advertised for it. And when we were rolling up to the launch of it, I mean, we're clearly more PlayStation guys, but I kept telling Jeremiah, I was like, they have to release this with the Switch.
Yeah.
This has got to happen. If this doesn't happen, the sales are, who's going to buy it, right? What's the point of it? And we even started calling it the Nintendo Zelda. Like, right? It's not even the Nintendo Switch Zelda is what this thing is. It's the way they were advertising it. And then they ended up shipping it with it. And I'm so stoked to hear that that's the selling point of the Switch, actually, and that Zelda is awesome. I was afraid that when they suddenly announced it was going to come out with the Switch, that there might have been a little bit of a rushed element to it, and you might have sacrificed something there. But everything I've heard about it is that's not the case at all.
One, to answer your first question, no, I don't think the only way the Switch would have done as well is if they had released something like Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Because Mario Kart has a larger attach rate. If you look back on past systems, including the Wii U, the Mario Kart attach rate, I mean, it was like 14 million Wii U's were sold and 8 million copies of Mario Kart 8 were sold. The Wii had 100 million units sold and 30 million units of Mario Kart, right? So Mario Kart is definitely a high attach rate.
Yeah.
Now that they have Zelda being sold with the Switch, 9 out of every 10 Switches has Zelda with it. Mario Kart launches on the 28th of April. It's just like, I feel like Nintendo's making some good business decisions as far as like just kind of drip feeding some high quality titles. But we're also seeing, we're 2 weeks in, every Friday or Thursday, we've seen upwards of 5 to 6 indie games come out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
On top of,
Which some of those have already been out on the other systems.
And but they're coming out at good prices though. Like World of Goo, Little Inferno, I think is one of them, and then there's
I played the crap out of World of Goo on my Wii.
Yeah,
I loved it. I thought it was great.
It's really fun. The other one is like the Human Resource Machine, which I haven't even I don't know anything about. But they also started releasing Neo Geo titles. And so you have these old Neo Geo titles that like literally we could sit here and do 2-player, right? Metal Slug, King of Fighters, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so I really feel like
Samurai
Nintendo's
one. What's the
Samurai Warrior. They don't. It's not on there yet.
Oh, come on! Give me Samurai Warrior.
It needs to be. But I feel like indies are going to be a third pillar,
Nice.
or I mean, even hopefully maybe a fourth pillar, depending on first party, second party, third party, and then indies. You know, but you got games like Shovel Knight that have come out, but for $25 you get the complete experience of Shovel Knight. You get the original game, the Spectre Knight, and then the new one that's coming out as well. It's not out yet, so I mean,
which has kind of happened with like
PlayStation 4.
yeah,
4
I mean that's pretty classic. Like if the exclusives on Xbox or vice versa, right? Like one system gets the exclusive, when the other system gets it finally, you get the full edition. Like you get it now with all the DLC and like right.
Yeah.
So I'm not super surprised by that, but
no, I was talking about the indie thing though. The whole PlayStation 4. That's the indie thing was what.
Oh yeah,
totally
PlayStation's been really supportive of indie games.
Yeah.
The thing that Switch has going for it is it's very easy to develop for. And what they've said, what Nintendo has said is, if you can get a game on Steam, we want this on the Switch so that you can take it on the go.
Yeah.
Right. Which is, I mean, that's cool. That's really cool. And
So would they just have a Steam account that you would sign up for on your Switch?
well, you have a Nintendo ID.
Okay.
And they're finally kind of starting to unify all this stuff. They did somewhat before. Like I bought a bunch of games on the Wii, like Mario Kart 64. When it finally came out on the Wii U, I got it for like $1.50.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
So
I remember hearing about that.
They didn't charge me the full price. But then where it wasn't unified is on my 3DS. I mean, I bought Super Mario Brothers like 20 times in my lifetime now. And it was like the full price. I had to but it's like, well, I want it on the go with me, so I'm going to do it. You know, I'm a sucker. I'm sorry.
Well, clearly.
Yeah.
So the other Nintendo question that I had was, how do you feel as obviously the Nintendo fan about some of these third-party games and other big name games that are coming out this year, where a lot of these people have already said that they're not going to port to the Switch? I mean, you got like next week we have Mass Effect, which is huge, right? So many people are crapping their pants over Mass Effect. We've got Persona coming out the month after that, which I'm super stoked for. And both these titles, which have they also have a massive following, right? Kind of like this Mario Kart or this Zelda thing, like what you're talking about. And those people have already blatantly said, no, we're just not even going to dabble with it. The system, technically the system is not up to snuff with the Xbox or the PlayStation. As far as, is it going to look the same? No, it just isn't gonna, right?
Yeah.
And so I've heard that that's a big reason why a lot of those people have said we're not going to port to it, because it can't present the game at the standard or the quality standard that we want it to be represented in. So, I mean, as the Nintendo guy, how do you feel about that?
So the thing with third parties to me is like, you have games like Mass Effect. That game is going to be, well, I mean, the unfortunate thing about Mass Effect, we're going to talk about it more, but like, it's getting a lot of flack for some of the things that's going wrong with it. I wouldn't want to see a lesser version of that game on the Switch.
Yeah. That
I'm going to complain about frame rates or, you know, pop-ins or low draw distance, that kind of stuff. I would rather just have that full experience on the consoles that can handle it. And I think if the Switch goes the way Nintendo is anticipating, because they've already doubled production, their goal is to sell 10 million units by March. Wow. And they're doubling to 16 million instead of 8.
Now,
their production.
Are they using the production plant they have here in Washington, or are they just all out of country?
I would say it's probably out of country. Would be my guess. I mean, I wouldn't
be surprised if it was every production plant they have.
Well, no, I'm just curious because I have some friends that they don't work there anymore. They used to work at the one here in Redmond, yeah. And they did all the refurbs. I mean, they're getting old machines back into refurbing them and sending them back out. And
yeah, they did that for years after the systems were like, you couldn't buy them anymore. They finally stopped on some of them, but so I mean, you've got games like Steep coming to the system. I have a huge question about that game. That game, well, my son plays it, and we have it at home. It is fun. Like it's you know, it's the best snowboarding experience that you can get right now if that's what you're into.
I heavily disagree.
Is there a better?
There's
what's
so
a better
many.
one?
There's so many things. I guess maybe current console generation. I guess.
Yeah.
But I think if you own an older system, there's way better snowboarding games and snow sport games on that. That I really felt like, which I mean, we could kind of segue into one of the requests we had was to actually play For Honor, which is another Ubisoft game, right?
Yeah.
And so is Steep. And I think that all of the Ubisoft games, they kind of suffer the same ailment where they come with a really awesome concept. It's just that the idea is not fleshed out very well. It's got some turd stink around it. It just does, you know? And they managed to polish some spots and it's great and it sucks you in. But one of my biggest complaints about Steep is that they emphasize that you can do all these different action sports, but you can't do any of them without almost coming to a full stop and then committing to the next one. Why can't I snowboard off and then go into my parachute and then switch back into my snowboard and go again, right? It's almost like they're separate games that you have to pick what version am I going to play now, right? Which all the Ubisoft games have something like that.
I wonder if it's because it's more of a simulation. Now, obviously,
but
could
at
have
the same
a parachute.
time, it's not,
and
because you can do such weird off-the-wall things. Right?
Like the giraffe suit that just
it's just
flops around and it's really strange.
I kept thinking that when I was playing. It was like, what is this game? Is it a simulator or an action sports game? Like, pick one, right? Is it 1080 snowboarding or SSX?
Right.
Like, what is this thing, right? But I would rather play SSX or 1080 over that Steep game any day. As far as the snowboarding goes, I think.
I liked the Final Fantasy VII snowboarding. It's awesome. I'm sorry.
Well, the thing is with Zelda, you can go up into the snowy mountains, throw your shield down, and snowboard as far as you want. And they do a great job of it. My question with Steep is it's an always online game, and the Switch is the hybrid of let's go mobile, let's go to your TV. What are they going to do there?
Will they allow you to play it offline?
That's what I'm wondering. That's
Please,
really
God, let Ubisoft let us do that.
They have to. If they don't, I mean, there's going to be it's going to be bad. There's going to be riots, for anybody that buys that game. Oh, yeah.
But... So I rented For Honor, right?
Okay.
Because I went back in time and did that. And and in For Honor, it's the classic Ubisoft thing where you put the game in and it took it an hour to try to connect. I had to reboot my PlayStation 4 a couple times. I had to disconnect my router, reconnect it, and finally it connected me. And so you do a tutorial right away, right? It just forces you into that. You pick your faction you want to be, you do the tutorial. I was like, great, that's fine, which I did 20 times because it kept crashing on me. Finally made it through it, and I went to start the game. And the first thing you do when you start the game is a tutorial. I got double tutorialed. Before you actually get to the menu screen and play the game, you're forced to tutorial. And then when you actually pick what mode you want to play, you're forced to tutorial. I was like, really? Come on, man. And then it's the same thing. You can't play that game offline. That game is a piece of plastic if you don't have internet. I have a little bit of Ubisoft gripes for sure. But at the same time, I think the amount of games that they're putting out blows my mind. It's crazy how many games they can put out, and really there are a lot of elements in their games that are actually pretty awesome. Like the For Honor game, the combat system in that game is pretty refreshing. It's the best mix of just melee button mashing fighting if you want to, but then at the same time you can be really tactical and almost like Bloodborne or Dark Souls, where you really have to counter and watch which direction the guy's going to attack and then counter in that direction. And I thought it was super appealing and really kind of sucked you in. But then once you get into the craziness of it, it turns into a button masher kind of game. But the bones of it are something that's kind of refreshing. It's all cloud-based and drives me nuts. I wanted to just snap my controller on that 20th restart on my PlayStation, man. And then I looked online and they're like, oh, all you got to do is go into your router and port forward or do this. And it's like, really? Come on. I'm not doing that. That doesn't come in the game. There's no instructions on how to do that. You have to also look that up. It's just it's really a big nuisance, I think. And it's too bad because it bogs the game down.
That's one of those games, I got to play it at E3 last year. I'm sorry, I didn't get to play it, but it was in the Ubisoft lounge.
Yeah.
And
how'd you get into E3?
Went in. So I was part of a podcast that we went in as media, And we did a Siege. It was called Siege the Show. It was a Rainbow Six podcast. So they kind of gave us VIP treatment. Like, I didn't even realize this, but I was kind of telling this guy the problems with the Division. I thought, he asked me what I thought of Ghost Recon because I got to play that. And then he's like, "Oh, you don't have a beer in your hand." Goes and gets me a beer. Turns out to be the vice president of Ubisoft. I had no idea.
Wow.
I was literally telling this guy like why his game sucked.
Telling him how to do his job.
But I was polite. I was just like, "Here's where
I hope you were."
And he hugged me. He was like, "Thank you for that feedback," And then I get done, and all the guys that I was with were like, "That was the vice president that just hugged you." I was like,
the vice president just got me a beer, so
okay,
yeah.
And so like
Ubisoft just went click click.
Yeah. But like,
except for it was Budweiser.
No, it was Stone IPA.
Oh, sweet.
Nice,
Yeah.
that'll work. Yeah.
3 more clicks.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, and they had just bought us beers at the bar we were at beforehand and all of our meals. So
One
it was
more
like,
All right.
yeah.
Now you got to take it all back.
It
right?
was, I mean, it was their perfect games. Don't change them.
Yeah.
But I mean, so that game changed a lot for Honor. It was like a fighting game, I think, at one point, and then it became like a Dynasty Warriors game, and then they kind of like meshed the two together. Like, and forgive me
very
if the
sort of Dynasty Warriors ish.
yeah, it was weird to watch that game like transform and morph over the time. It was like, this isn't the
But
game.
I think that's Ubisoft, right? Like when I put that game in, I felt that same way. Even playing the finished version of the game, it's got elements that are hack and slash. It's got elements that are very kind of Dark Souls and tactical, but then it's got enemies that you can just like swing your sword and kill them, and they'll come in waves, which is very Dynasty Warriors, right? It's almost like pick one, man. Pick one and then let that shine instead of clouding it with all this just kind of filler garbage all the time.
But don't you think that's gaming now? Like I mean, I'm a huge Destiny fan. They take every game that you hear is like first person shooter. We joke about this on the Loot Cast. We're like, oh, it's a first person shooter with open world first person shooter with RPG elements. Like,
Yeah.
nobody picks because to me, I mean, I'm an Xbox fan too, right? Xbox, I think, is failing because they've stayed the course of I'm going to put out a game that has a campaign, a horde mode, and multiplayer. And the game is a third-person shooter like Gears of War, third-person shooter, PvP, and then the horde mode or whatever. They're not doing that well.
Yeah.
But you have these games that are like, hey, we're gonna mix all these genres, and some of them really do well, like Destiny, and other ones that it's like what you're saying. Like, are they going to? They don't pick something, and so nothing shines.
Well, and there's even sometimes there's a part of it that does shine, and it's like new and it's somewhat groundbreaking for that genre, but then they cloud it with all this other mixed in stuff that part of it can't shine through, right? There's so much garbage to see through to get to the good part. It brings that good part down, which is really unfortunate.
And I haven't played For Honor, but does it give you an option to where like we could just fight without the minions and stuff, like one-on-one, like a Street Fighter?
No. You can play online, like, PvP. You can play as groups and all that. And again, it's almost like, remember when we had our monthly game Paragon? Remember that? Where it was like, you start out as your guy from the main point. This one, you have kind of save points as you go, but you get these like boost items as you go through. And those are kind of the thing that levels up versus your guy does, right? Which I'm not a huge fan of that in games because I think it takes it away from that personal interaction with your character. It feels less personal to me now because I could pick any character as long as I just use my beefed up items on that new character, right? Like the items are what I'm personally attached to, not the character.
I see.
And so that I get kind of burnt out on that a little bit.
And honestly, the most experience I've had with For Honor, like I said, I saw it at E3, but I watched during PAX when Tycho and Gabe had their like where they go head to head every year at PAX.
Yeah.
And that's the game they played. And I was like, this looks rad. Like, it looks really cool. But at the same time, I was like, it's something, a game like that is going to suffer from things like you're getting attacked from two different directions. And you're not going to be able to pull out like the sweet Obi-Wan move where you can block your back and then block your front. Like, they don't, it's
almost like, what was that game? I want to say it was PlayStation 1. It was like a samurai fighting game where you would fight each other. You'd have like your arena and this little area that you could be in, and you would fight each other, and it was like a one swing death. Like if you hit the dude, he would die, and that was it, and you'd have to suddenly pick and play again. But that's all that game was, and it was awesome at that part. But a lot of people didn't care for it because that's all it was, right?
Yeah.
It didn't have a bunch of other stuff.
The realism killed it.
Yeah.
I'd say Bushido Blade had a lot.
I think that's what I was thinking. Maybe. Yeah.
Was it Bushido
Bushido Blade? Yeah.
I loved that game so much.
But it was like such a bare bones game.
Oh, it
but
was.
what it did so well and
Yeah.
like super realistic, right? But that, I guess that's my issue with a lot of the other games is that they just, especially these Ubisoft ones, man. It's like pick it and commit, and then make that thing awesome, and quit throwing in these extras just because it's what you assume the consumer has to have in the game. Which I agree. I think a lot of consumers, we all assume that that's going to be in there, and we immediately, knock it down a notch. That was my complaint about Uncharted, was that Uncharted, this newest Uncharted, I think drifted away from what made Uncharted matter to me. And they did that because they tried to add in more of an open world, and they tried to like embellish these other things that new games have that I don't care. That's not why I'm playing Uncharted. And they tried to like almost appeal to this broader audience that way. And when you do that, you can alienate your core audience, which is it's unfortunate.
And that's what Tomb Raider did, is when like the Uncharted was. It was totally a linear path that you're following for the story.
Yeah.
I mean, you could back travel to any other area and then open world scout those areas. But as far as if you wanted to continue the story, you went back to the story and you followed this mostly linear path to it.
Yeah. And maybe that's
really appreciated that.
Well, maybe that speaks to the audience of people that's playing games now. Like games have just gone, it's not like a closet hobby anymore by any means, right? It's like you've got this mass appeal to everybody out there, and if you can't appeal to that to the masses, it's going to affect your game sales, which is the bottom. That's what matters, right? The bottom dollar is what matters here.
It's all business. And the thing is too, like guys like us, we're in our 30s, mid 30s, like we've been gaming for 30 years, probably, right?
Yeah.
Where we have basically, we're probably the generation that has ridden out gaming the longest, because you have guys that are a little older than us that like did the arcades and did Atari.
Yeah.
But I find very few people that have stuck with it unless they're playing like flash games or that kind of stuff now, just kind of the casual.
Yeah.
Whereas like we're still kind of the hardcore, but like
the NES generation.
Yeah. Even we're
Maybe
gonna.
That's why we're jaded too, though, right? Is that because we are the hardcore guys?
That could be, but these companies are trying to market to multiple markets.
Yeah.
Right? Like multiple target markets where like they're trying to get my kids who are 16 and 14 who want to play PvP, Call of Duty, bro, they won't even touch Zelda. And it like kills me. I'm like, I failed you as a father, because you don't get to experience this adventure that like I'm just like completely sucked into.
We just feel old. You made me feel so much older.
Sorry, I know, but I mean, it's
every time we do this, we start talking about our whatever, like the latest superhero movie or the whatever things from our childhood. I always start to feel that way too. It's like I feel such like this old crotchety old man, right?
Get off my lawn.
Yeah, I have such a stinky old man opinion about it, and I keep thinking all these movies they're redoing that are superhero ones. There is a good one that you grew up with, and there's a reason why they're making that new one, right? Because there were these things before that drove that new one to be made. Share those with your kids. Like get your kids involved from the ground up. You know?
I saw this meme, and I probably totally butchering it because I don't remember exactly what it is. But it was something like you'll get your Xbox back, or you'll get your whatever it is back if you can beat level 10. And it was X-Man. It was Mega Man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Once you beat level 10, you get your stuff back. It's like
Dude, I did that to my son. I didn't tell him he couldn't play his Xbox, but
but it was punishment to get his everything back. I was like, you're punished until you can beat level 10.
Yeah.
That's awesome. My son and his friend were down in my office, and I had an old CRT TV hooked up,
which I need to find.
And I was checking Value Village. There's tons of them. Craigslist. A lot of people want to move for
value,
free.
Though it's misleading.
I was checking games I had just bought because I still collect the retro games. So I put Turtles 2, the arcade game, and
classic.
I said,
"Love that game."
I bet you guys can't beat this, and they were like, "I bet we can." And it was like 2:00 in the morning that they were like, I asked them like, oh, did you guys give up? They're like, nope, we beat it at 2 a.m. But it took us. I'm like, I didn't tell them any. So I don't know if they got on Google and were like, is there cheat codes?
Yeah,
I have no idea if they did like the Konami
Which was
code.
such a classic thing, right?
Yeah. But we didn't have that. We had the freaking playground where it was like, there's a gun
right?
in Zelda.
Yeah,
You're a liar. No,
You'd
there's a
go
gun.
you'd
You're
go
a
to
liar.
school the next day and hear about all. Then go home and you got to try it, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I wrote down the code.
Yep.
You read the code. I'll put it in.
I can't tell you how many little strips of freaking line paper that I had arrows drawn on with the
Yeah.
name.
I remember the Mike Tyson code. Somebody gave it to me like
Yeah.
like you know.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
so-
totally. And it's just, it's really cool that we got to experience those times for sure,
Yeah.
because those will never ever happen again. They just won't.
I feel like we've got to grow with it. Like we've got to.
Oh, totally.
We've got to literally watch it from, its infancy. Which I mean, obviously not Pong or whatever, but I mean, really when Nintendo came.
I don't know. When I was a kid, we used to go to this. When I lived further down south, we used to go to this. It was like Chang's or something, some Asian restaurant, and they would have the classic, like the TVs in the bottom of the table, kind of, right? And you'd sit across, and
Pac-Man.
we'd totally play Pac-Man or Pong.
Yeah.
You could like pick the basic games.
Yeah.
Me and my dad, we played Pong every time we went there for Chinese food. It was part of the tradition, right? We'd wait,
Sure.
because it's Chinese food. You always wait an hour to get seated at the table or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So we'd sit at this little Pong table, and my dad would pop quarters in that machine, and we'd play Pong until we were ready to go eat.
Yeah, my dentist in Mount Vernon had Asteroids and Pac-Man.
Yeah.
The
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
tabletops, and there were no, you'd have to put quarters in. That was the, like, I was like, I want to go to the dentist so I can
Yeah,
play
right?
free video
Yeah.
games. And it's literally Asteroids and Pac-Man, but I didn't care. It was free video games.
Yeah.
Pac-Man's the one that I used to play. It was what was a restaurant that we used to go to. It wasn't Asian though. It wasn't Chinese. It was
Like Godfathers in Mount Vernon or something.
If it's
something
not
like
Chinese,
that.
it's got to be like Japanese, Thai food.
No, it wasn't Asian.
It wasn't Asian. Oh, okay.
Pizza places always have pretty good.
No,
Italian,
it was,
Mexican? No.
Subway?
I'm trying to
No,
help you
no,
out.
no,
Yeah,
no,
right?
no,
Yeah.
no, it
That's not Chinese either.
was in
right?
MV.
It what?
It was in up north in Mount Vernon.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Luigi's Cascade
And it wasn't
Pizza?
Mexican.
It doesn't matter. It
Okay.
doesn't matter. Anyway, but I used to
It
go
matters.
play there.
Now we gotta know.
Right? Yeah.
We can't leave this.
I'm not going to be able to
It was
sleep
Max Dale's,
tonight.
actually.
Yeah.
Maxdale's?
Oh,
I
there
think
you
it
go.
was Max
There
Dale's.
you
Yeah.
American.
So just
Beefy.
beef.
Yeah.
Beef.
Yeah.
Beef. Yeah. Beef products.
Yeah, it was Max Dale's. Because I remember they had this giant booths. With
Oh,
these
yeah.
tables. Yeah. Anyway.
Nice.
But yeah.
Well, that was this huge tangent. That was awesome.
I know. Sorry, guys.
No, that was great. That was fun.
Anyway.
Yeah, the only other
Yeah,
nerdy
Pac-Man.
stuff. Awesome.
Okay.
I liked Pac-Man. I had a girlfriend who had Donkey Kong in her bedroom.
The
and I had-
original, like the climb
cabinet,
the tower.
the cabinet version of Donkey Kong.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I did the same thing. Right, like we should be making out right now, but we will do that. I promise. Once I beat this level, right? It was the same thing, man. Totally the same thing. That's terrible. It tells you the nerd level at the time, right? Because I was like at peak make-out age, so.
Priorities, bro.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Video games saved your life.
Right? Probably. It probably did. Yeah. I would have got in a whole other world of trouble.
Yep. Me too.
Whole lot broker. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, the other nerdy thing that I know that we did was we watched some TV.
Oh yeah.
Right? I actually
Iron
cracked out
Fist.
on TV this week. I got all caught up on Samurai Jack. So good. You have to watch it.
I still gotta get the app.
I did watch the Iron Fist. We got into that a little bit, and the other one I do want to mention because I think yesterday you mentioned you were watching it was the Legion show, or you were going to watch it with your wife, right? Maybe you haven't done it yet, but I have to say I watch a lot of TV, and this is hands down my favorite show of the year.
Wow.
It's really, really good. I think the acting is great in it. The storytelling is great, and they do all the music to it really, really well. You can tell that it's got the Big Lebowski people in it. It's got the Netflix team that's doing the Marvel shows. They're involved in it. And you can just tell, man. It's so quality. It has so many special effects, but it doesn't feel CW.
That's
which
good.
Yeah,
No wigs.
right? Yeah.
Less wigs.
Yeah, totally, right?
Yeah.
Which, I'm bummed, man. That's my favorite part of the Arrow, totally, is the wig. And that's not in there. I don't
I
care
got
about
a new
Arrow.
wig.
I don't even care about Arrow anymore.
I couldn't watch this season. I
Yeah.
stopped. I couldn't do it. anymore.
I stopped after season 2, I think it was.
You
me
made
too.
a better choice.
Yeah. I got into season 3 and was like, I can't. I just can't. I don't care. I don't care, Oliver. Cry me a river.
Put your shirt back on.
Yeah. Do more of those whatever things. I don't know.
The salmon ladder.
Yeah. The other one that I did watch was, and I actually cracked out on the whole thing, watched the whole series. Me and my wife finished it this morning, was Into the Badlands. Have you guys seen that?
No.
Just I see it when I watch The Walking Dead, like the
Oh my God, it's
commercials,
so
but-
good, dude. It's so cheesy and terrible, but so awesome. It'll suck you in. Lots of swordplay, lots of ridiculous, like, wire acting flips and stuff but it's awesome. It's like Mad Max, except they're samurais, right?
Crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. It's like guns have been outlawed, so you can't shoot people anymore, but they still have cars and like gasoline. So it's like this post-apocalyptic kind of world, but instead everybody's like these super warrior martial art people. Lots of cool fighting. But the other one that I did watch, that we both watched, was the Iron Fist.
Yeah.
And you
I
dabbled.
was like 5 or 6.
Yeah, almost two episodes in.
Yeah. Have you been watching the other Netflix shows?
So we finished Luke Cage last night and then started Iron Fist.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
nice.
So
Wow, you're behind the
So
curve
you're
on
caught
that
up
one,
then,
man.
though.
we're caught up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
your just overall feeling for the Netflix shows?
They're not the CW.
No.
I probably won't watch them a second time, but I'm glad I watched them the first time.
No.
Wow.
I've watched some of them a second time. In a way, I feel like they're kind of like the video game we were talking. It's like, I feel like these Netflix shows are the superhero shows for those of us that have grown up with it, and they've almost grown up with us a little bit.
Yeah, they are kind of like there's not a lot of like special effects and like really crazy over the top like Hollywood stuff.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like watching the Hulk when we were kids, where it was like just a dude painted green
Kind of,
doing
yeah.
his stuff,
I
right?
totally
Or
appreciate that about it.
yeah, or like even Spider-Man, which was I think 60s or 70s, like before our time, but we would still, we still watch the reruns,
Yeah.
right? And so
The live
like,
action one.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's just
Which was
totally
such a weird gem to find. If you watched that as
Channel
a kid,
12, baby. Canadian channels
Ah,
always
right?
have
Yeah,
that thing
yep.
on, you know?
Power Rangers. I swear I thought that was Canadian show forever. Because I didn't know half my channels were from Canada, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to turn the antenna to get the Canadian channels at my house, but my grandma's house was always Channel 12. It's all it was. So
We had the little knob on top of the TV.
I was the knob.
Oh, you were?
Yeah,
You'd go
my
up all the
dad's
roof
like,
and-
no, it was down to the ground. He's like, I want this channel. I'm like, so go. He's like, get out there. It's raining. There's lightning. I don't care. Like
I wish he would have called you Knob. Get out there, Knob.
I wouldn't be
No,
surprised if he did.
we had the power mover.
Yeah, we had the same thing. My dad got it. Yep.
Yeah. I remember my friend had that. I was like, this is the future. You
Yeah.
know, watching. I'm like,
Hey,
how are you can turn that?
You get in that spot, kind of like when you're aiming on a first person shooter, where you're like, oh, too far, oh, too far, oh, too far, oh,
Right.
too far.
Yeah.
You know, same thing.
That's when he said Knob up there.
Just half. Give me half.
Yeah.
That and the satellites as kids, like they were so big,
Oh, I know.
Oh, yeah.
right? And it was like, you're,
Oh,
Took
and
up
how,
half your lawn.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you were super spoiled. If you had that big, huge satellite dish, you were like from the future.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I remember.
when eBay first came out, you could buy the hack chips for those. You could run out there and it's kind of like an SD card, but it wasn't an SD card. It was little cards they used to give you the area programming and stuff. What basically the filter to unlock what you could get. So you could get the unlock chip and you could.
Could you steal your neighbor's
your
satellite,
satellite
at this
dish?
point?
Yeah, and you can get everything that you were, so you're getting paid for stuff that you weren't paying for.
Yeah. Well, I swear, with the size of the dishes, you're getting shows from like Mars and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
you had to.
Yeah.
Based on what my friend's stepdad would watch, because every TV would change to it, I was like, why don't people have clothes and what are they doing? Like,
Yeah.
like, and not just normal, what are they doing? Like, what are they doing?
Yes.
What's this from?
I've seen a few of those shows.
Yeah.
Wow.
In between the Nintendo 64, WCW, and WO matches, sometimes we'd flip on the TV and be like, "What? Who is watching this weird show?" Yeah. I mean, they were like, it's just weird, man. It was like game show versions of just inappropriate stuff. It was weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll tell you guys after.
Yeah, we can. I'll
Remind
tell you.
me.
I
You
can
guys
tell
are
you
far
later.
more educated than I am.
See, it's terrible. But
Put it
you
this
know,
way.
But you see me now. It didn't help any. So
I didn't realize how much weight a man could lift with a certain part of his body until after the show was
that's
up.
hilarious because mine was I didn't realize how much weight a woman, how many encyclopedias she could hold up with a certain part of her body. So
Yeah, and is it the same guy's stepdad that was watching this show?
maybe.
Like if it was 3 a.m., don't switch to the cable channel.
Yeah,
Just
right.
stay on the local ones.
It was a little fuzzy, but we could tell what was going on, and our minds were blown. I didn't know you could use that part of your body that way.
and kids don't try this at
Yeah,
home.
yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah.
And now it doesn't matter. You could just go on YouTube and type it in, right? Google search.
Don't Google that. You will find it.
Internet Rule 34.
Yeah, that's right. If it's there, it exists. So, what's your what's your favorite Netflix series? We've already talked it up about what ours are.
I would say Stranger Things, probably.
Oh, nice. You totally didn't even go Netflix. That's not what I was expecting. But I think it's hilarious you said that.
Wait, isn't that Netflix?
No, you're right. I was speaking Marvel
Oh,
series
sorry.
specifically.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. I love it. Thinking outside the box. It's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
And I did watch that one. There were things about that one that I really, really enjoyed. And then there were things about that one that I just couldn't stand.
I think for me, for some reason, my youngest daughter is 9, and she is way infatuated with the 80s. So, like, that was the one show that from my 9-year-old to my 16-year-old, they were like, what do you mean we can't watch another episode? Like, they wanted to keep going.
Yeah.
You know? But as far as the Marvel ones, I think the second season of Daredevil was probably my favorite.
I think it's a pretty standout.
Just how
huge
brutal
success
it
for
was, the Punisher, everything. Like, I was like,
Oh, and
this is...
the way they introduced the Punisher, I think, in that, and deal with the whole he kills everybody, but they address it and how that happens, and like
Yeah.
his origin. Totally spot on with all that.
And some of the shots, like not gunshots, but camera shot, like
Oh, yeah.
where like you're seeing through what looks like a hole in the wall, and as it zooms out, it's actually a bullet hole through an arm.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I was like,
I love that stuff.
That
man.
is really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things
Yeah.
is when somebody gets shot and you watch it, and then when they pan out, you're looking through the hole.
Yeah.
Of that. Yeah. I've seen that in multiple things I watch, and I'm such a big fan. Sucker for it. That makes a tink tink. Right?
there
Yeah.
So, in the Daredevil season 2, what's your favorite fight scene?
Oh, I know what Jeremiah's is.
Yes, because I was very disappointed with Iron Fist with theirs.
Oh, yeah, because it's very similar, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's been so long. I mean, I remember
On the spot.
yeah, right? Yeah, that's what I feel like. I mean,
No,
I remember the
Elevator.
elevator. It was an
Oh, yeah,
escalator.
it's
Yeah,
staircase.
staircase
Elevator. Yeah. The fight takes place in the
Yes,
staircase.
it does.
Okay. The fight scene's the staircase.
It is.
Okay.
But the elevator fight scene.
Yeah.
Can you refresh my memory just a little bit?
It's when he goes to save the Punisher, and the Punisher's like all, totally wasted, and he throws him in the elevator and sends him down. And so then Daredevil has to catch up to him by going down the staircase,
Okay.
and he just kicks so much ass all the
Yeah,
way down.
and
Gotcha.
it's one of the non-cutaway shots. I mean, they do cut away eventually, but it's so much of it is shot as a continuous
Okay.
run, and that's like, whoa!
Yeah.
Because it's like the non-pull away. I don't know if you've seen The Protector. That the movie with the I can't remember the guy's name now, but it's trying to rescue the elephant that gets stolen, the baby elephant.
Oh, yeah. I remember those.
Dumbo?
Hmm?
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, it's not Dumbo.
No,
It's
no.
like it's
Anyway,
a crazy Asian actor guy, though.
yeah,
Yeah.
but he does Muay Thai in it and stuff.
Like Jackie Chan or
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of, yeah.
Chow
yeah.
Yun Fat
Yeah,
or
yeah.
No
Jet
wires,
Li.
no special effects. It's all real action.
More
you know?
Jackie Chan.
guy.
Yeah. And, yeah, exactly. But there's a scene in there where he goes up the stairs and up this scene, and it's 4 minutes straight, uncut,
Oh wow.
all one shot. And they're actually like pulling props away and moving stuff in behind them because they pan back and stuff. It's like to show what they're doing, and it's like if you didn't know that's what was going on, you wouldn't get it. But
Yeah.
it's like that was just amazing. That whole shot. And the Daredevil thing reminded me of that, and that staircase elevator fight scene for Daredevil is my
Emphasis on staircase.
is like my probably into my top 5 fight scenes of cinematic history ever. So.
And I'm not gonna lie, because of what we've kind of mentioned, we're old dudes now. I do spend a lot of time watching TV with my mouth open and my eyes closed.
Yeah, I can totally relate.
And getting the elbow from the wife, like, you're not even watching. Yeah, I am.
Oh man, I feel so young because I elbow my wife.
There you go.
Yeah, no, friggin' Thursday night I got home from work and put Daredevil. Actually, put Daredevil on. Put Daredevil on and pulled my phone up to start doing some Nerdbuzzed stuff and poured myself a tequila and lime. Sat down. And I woke up, the ice was melted, and my lime was starting to smell bad. Okay, wow. This is bad.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah. All you had to do was pour it.
You're into the second season of Daredevil.
Time to go bed. Time to go to bed now.
14 hours later.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I think if your kids were super engaged in Stranger Things, you have to introduce them to like the Goonies and the Flight of the Navigator and like, right? These are like Stranger Things.
Yeah, we do. Like, and there's that show, The Goldbergs.
Oh, I
on
love
ABC,
the Goldbergs.
Right? Okay.
I will say it has been petering out a little bit, and it's like Modern Family for me, where I'm starting to lose it a little bit. My hands down favorite episode is the talent show one.
Yeah.
With the mom goggles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we grew up during that time period. Like, that's all of our moms.
Oh,
With, like,
totally.
The Aquanet hair, all that stuff. But then, like,
and the sweaters, man. Oh my God, the sweaters.
Yeah, and the shoulder pads.
Oh, such big shoulder pads.
But like my 8-year-old daughter or 9-year-old daughter, she loves that show. That's her favorite thing. Like every Thursday or Thursday, she's like, we gotta watch Goldbergs tonight. Okay, all right. She loves it. When I first introduced my wife to Star Wars, she was like, so that guy's name's Hans Olo? And I was like,
and then painful.
And then she cried. Right? Yeah. She cried when the Ewok died during that scene where the AT-ST shot it. And I was like, I'm marrying this girl. Right. And we got engaged the day Star Wars Episode 1 came out, and the rest is history. But Beverly in that show says
she had no idea what she's signing up for.
No way.
She's introduced to all this nerdiness, and then you're like, she's not totally. Let's get married.
Yeah, she hasn't left.
Reel that in. I gotta bite her.
Beverly on that show calls him Hans Olo. And my wife's like, we just died laughing.
Yeah.
Right? And then my oldest son is literally Barry on that show. It's like, one day he's going to be a rapper. And so, like, we buy him microphones and stuff so that he can make beats and do his rapping. The next day he's like, I think I'm going to design clothes. And Barry on that show, the latest episode, is designing clothes. We're like, oh my gosh, we're living this show out on a daily basis. And so,
one of the best parts about that show is the end of it before they do the credits, when they show the real life.
Oh my gosh.
What inspired the episode, and it's real life home video footage of that moment. And every time, again, it makes me feel so old, but it feels so good.
Yeah.
It really does. It's a great show. We watch that one every single week. Modern Family is the other one. Again, I really think that first season though of Goldbergs is where it's at.
Yeah, before Adam's voice changed.
Yeah,
was
he did hit that season where all of a sudden he's not like 12 anymore.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. So we were gonna talk about some Shadow of Mordor, but I don't. We're not gonna have time.
I'm so sorry.
I know. No, it's fine.
I talk
it's
a
our
lot.
show, but come on and take over. It's
yeah,
fine. No,
it's what I do.
No, it's great. So we should, before we just cut from the Iron Fist, I know you're only a couple episodes in, and I think it's
Modern Family. How we get to Iron Fist from?
Yeah, right. Yeah, because
segue.
I was gonna say it's not Netflix. I was gonna say I could segue it that way, but it's not Netflix.
That's true.
They're
both ABC.
Does that work?
Yeah, because they're both owned by Disney, and ABC's owned by Disney.
Okay,
So,
yeah, right.
Segue.
See? Tied it in, right?
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, we found it somehow there.
I brought you on to read for a reason.
Yeah. Mission accomplished once again.
Disney.
Yeah. Which I have to say,
pretty much.
I've actually gotten some responses from people because we talk crap about Disney a lot and some of the stuff they're doing with their own products, right? And my wife just went and saw the new Beauty and the Beast movie, and she had some crap to say when she came back from it, right? And she's her tolerance for that kind of thing is definitely higher than mine is, but she actually came back and had some crap to say to me. But I really have to give so much credit to Disney for treating the licenses that they've purchased with so much respect for the license itself and for the fans that can't wait to absorb what they're putting out there.
Yeah, God bless Disney for not letting Michael Bay direct any of their films.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Yes. Right.
I mean, because he's ruined Transformers. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
The Rock was great. A lot of stuff Michael Bay did. His, the lens flare, cool, man. Don't mess with Optimus Prime.
No.
Please.
No.
Don't do that.
And now they're doing a solo Bumblebee movie. Did you hear about that? Because that's what we all want as Transformer fans.
I'm just glad that this supposedly the last night was supposed to be the last Michael Bay.
But he said that like the past two.
And then he got into Turtles, and then he let Ollie ride around on rollerblades that he duct taped to his shoes. I'm like, how did you make Casey Jones so terrible?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Right? But you knew he was going to be terrible the instant they put Oliver in there.
So I'm glad I haven't watched these.
There are moments that are cool. I will say Rocksteady and Bebop were awesome in that movie.
They did so many things right as far as like, because even when
And
we
the
were kids,
Technodrome and
Yes.
the Dimension X, like all
Yeah.
that stuff. There were things in it. There was like 2% of that movie that was awesome. Like 10s across the board.
it was the Turtles too. We wanted as kids. We're like, what? Who the is Toka and Razor? Like, I don't.
Yeah.
They're not Bebop and Rocksteady. Like,
You take the ugly one.
yeah,
Yeah.
like,
I watched
what?
that. I don't care. I still see that movie like 50
Oh,
times.
dude, I would rent that, rewind, watch again, rewind, watch
Yeah.
again. Like it didn't
because
matter.
we had to do that as kids.
Yeah,
right?
we
And you're a
did.
little rewinder that looked like a Corvette.
Yeah, that went to Mach 2, and you're
Yeah.
like, it's gonna blow.
They're gonna charge me.
What about the slow wind up to that though?
That's right.
Yeah.
Just wait for it to not stop.
And then you hear the end. And
Yeah.
you swear it's gonna snap that tape
oh
every
yeah,
time.
every time.
See,
Oh,
these
we're
are
old.
the real world problems
Yeah.
that our kids just don't know.
We'll
right?
never know.
We'll never ever know that.
Well, your kids will never know.
My kids will never know. Yeah. I guess we'll keep watching Iron Fist. We'll review it next week.
Okay,
I think we'll get through it.
tonight.
I think the issue with it kind of is sort of like what we've been talking about. I think with games and everything where there's kind of this like public standard for what something should be, like we were saying with games, right? Like games all have to have this thing in it, and I think that can take away from what the core of what they're really trying to sell or have in there, right? Because they flower it up with all this other garbage that everybody that's out there to absorb it expects to be in there. And I'm getting a little bit of feel from that from Iron Fist. It's starting to feel a little formulaic, and it's starting to feel like they have to treat the show a certain way because we're all such fans of all these other Marvel Netflix shows that if these certain elements aren't in there, then it doesn't fall into that category.
There is a lot of this stuff where you can tell what's coming before it happens,
Yeah.
just because.
Yeah, and so I have a little bit of an issue with it. But really, aside from that, it's got some pretty cool fighting. I'm a sucker for violence and fighting. So, I mean, we play the crap out of GTA, right?
I think the fighting's been really good, and yeah, my only real complaint about it is nobody's gonna be as dumb in every situation as he is.
Yeah, he's very naive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what's weird about those shows a little bit is like with Luke Cage, the leading up to the, and I don't want to spoil anything.
Oh, we
but
spoil stuff on this show all the time.
okay, well, spoiler alert if you
Yeah,
haven't
I
watched
always throw
Luke
out the
Cage.
spoiler alerts,
All
too.
right, so there you've been warned. Skip ahead.
And I'll put it
a
in the
minute or two.
description so you know it
Yeah.
ahead of time.
But the final, like the finale,
Wait, how long's Luke Cage been out?
it's been out a while.
Long enough.
Yeah, a few months.
Spoilers
yeah,
don't
yeah.
matter.
But-
Okay.
Yeah.
But here he is fighting the main villain
The end guy.
who has this suit
Yeah.
that's supposed to be able to take these punches, yet his neck could still easily be twisted off. His head could easily be from one punch from Luke Cage based on what we've seen. I mean, he backhands a dude and he's like, I'm out cold.
Yeah.
And then this guy he can punch in the face, and that guy's got his
Yeah,
neck
exactly.
that's not protected by anything.
there's
And
no stress, there's
obviously
no-
I'm nitpicking it, right? But
Electromagnetic
That's what we're here to do, man.
what's strange about I feel what happens is on all these superhero shows to a certain extent is that they give the hero the powers they should have in the powers they have in the comics, and then the villains, they're like, yeah, we pulled him from the comics, but he has no power whatsoever. Like Shades from Luke Cage. It's like,
Yeah.
He's nothing. He's just a dude that wears sunglasses, and they're like, yeah, this is Shades. Well, he is an actual villain. You know, they pull these guys from the comics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the problem is in the comics they've got these giant suits with tubes coming out of them, and they're like, "Oh, I'm taking over the world."
They're very CW.
Yeah,
yeah.
And so it's like, but I have a little bit of a problem with that because it's like, why aren't we having super villains? What
Yeah.
Why is this?
But
guy...
I think that's gonna happen. I think that'll happen with the Defenders, right? Because we're building to a super villain, and I think as you keep watching Iron Fist, you're going to see hints as to who that is. Okay. I don't want to spoil that for anybody. We'll do that next week. We'll totally ruin Iron Fist for everyone. But for right now, you got to keep watching, and you will get those hints as to who that is, I think.
And I do have a little bit of fun going into those shows and going, I bet that's a villain in the comics. And then, getting on Google and like, Shades or whatever.
I've Googled the crap out of all those shows.
Is like, this is this. He was in the 1966 Daredevil or whatever, and now they're bringing him back. Or and so that kind of, and the other thing with the Netflix shows, I have no nostalgia for any of these characters. I really didn't care about Daredevil. I'm like,
Daredevil's the only one that I did.
Daredevil. Well, I knew Daredevil, and I know Iron Fist and
Kevin Smith's involvement. So
I know Iron Fist and Luke Cage, but I've only ever known them as a team. Right? They were the heroes for hire, is what they always were. And I had those comics, and they would always work. And they're like the trailer for leading up to the Luke Cage was him going in to the boxing club or whatever, and he takes on all the guys and they machine gun his clothes, and he instantly looked down and said, "Man, I'm getting sick of buying new clothes," right? And I have multiple comics where he in the comics says, "Man, I'm sick of buying more clothes," right? So it has a lot of things in all those shows that are like that. Like when he says "Sweet Christmas." That's totally his line. And spoiler alert, but in the Iron Fist, Claire, the nurse, who gets the rawest deal of everybody. She just cleans up everybody's mess. It's terrible. She's not even the nurse. She's the maid, and it's terrible. But she even says in the show, "Sweet Christmas," real quick under her breath during one scene. It's like, that's from the Luke Cage, right? And they're really doing a good job of linking them all together. And they really are going to come together, I think, in the Defenders. And totally Claire is going to be that glue that brings everybody together.
I think Claire and Hogarth are the only two that are common amongst all of them.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. And there's been some movie hints here and there, but I don't know. I really think we're getting close to
the only real movie hint they say is the event.
The event. Well, in this one, they've specifically mentioned the Hulk multiple times and Iron Man, and they've had other things like that. The one thing I will say about this Iron Fist show is I'm not the biggest celebrity crush fan guy. But man, that chick, I think it's Colleen in the show.
Yeah.
She's pretty hot. I gotta say, karate chick. Dude, I'll sign up. She'd kick my ass right now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think she could, based on...
and I'd let her.
Actually, you know what? Just based on the moves she does, whether she's actually that talented or not, I think she could.
Yeah, and I'll let her. That's fine. I'll sign up right now.
We're going to get a charity event going where Marcus will get beat down.
Yeah.
By this, is it a small Asian woman?
Yes.
Yeah. Not that small, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. Either that or the Iron Fist dude's really that tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, which could be the case also. Yeah. Right? Yeah. The Rosario Dawson is definitely bigger than she is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. She's pretty super hot.
Yeah.
You're going to get to that. You're only in episode 2. I don't know if you've got that far yet.
Well, she's been introduced, but yeah, she's...
Yeah. Has the dojo?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She gets pretty hot by the end.
The first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Worth watching.
I think one last thing we should note. Did you guys see the picture of Thor with the two gals, the two villains?
Mm-mm.
The new, the new entertainment magazine cover?
Yeah,
with this short hairdo.
Short hair. I told my wife, hey, Thor's got short hair and a beard. My wife's like, what? I'm like, you don't hear anything I say. I mentioned...
Chris Hemsworth, what?
Yeah.
I mentioned he has facial hair, and she's like, when can we pre-order tickets? I was like... I don't pre-order anything, but okay. Yeah. Whatever you want.
No, I'm down, man. I really want to see that movie. I've been waiting for the Hulk and for Thor to come back because they haven't been in the other Marvel movies.
Right.
So I'm all over it, man. I'm really stoked to see them have the Hulk be the Hulk and not deal with a bunch of whiny Bruce Banner stuff, which they've done really, really. Again, Disney, just kudos across. They're done so good. They really have. I have nothing bad to say except for their own internal products, but that's another issue.
Well, and then Guardians of the Galaxy 3 already announced.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
How stoked are you?
Not Chris Gunn, possibly. He said he doesn't know if he's going to stick with it, but
Really?
is that his name, Chris Gunn? The director?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's not Chris Pratt. That's
Yeah,
not,
no,
or
Or Chris
but-
Evans.
Yeah, Chris, yeah.
Or Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
yeah.
Chris's.
Or Chris, or whatever.
Like when they go to
So-
audition for the Marvel movies, if their name's Chris, they could just get bumped to the
Yeah,
top of the list.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, he said he doesn't know if he's on board, but they've already like basically greenlit it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Bring Joss Whedon
Yeah.
back.
I'm.
Hell yeah.
I'm.
I think he's done with Disney, from what
I
I
know.
understand. But.
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
But
I'm beyond stoked for the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I was
Yeah.
so in love with it, except for Cherry Bomb. That song can just go to hell. But the
Mm.
rest of it, so good. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you said Joss Whedon too. Like, you hear what Fox said about Firefly?
I sure
Yes.
did.
Yeah.
Oh
Did
my
you guys
gosh,
talk about it already on here?
No, we
No.
have not. But if you want to, I'd totally talk about that.
They said they'll do it.
podcast
ever.
Yeah.
They'll kick Firefly back off if Joss is on board.
If
And he
Joss is
has to be on board.
And Nathan Fillion's all over it,
Oh yeah.
which is awesome. 'cause
Well, and then the
But you're
Deadpool
not
trailer,
surprised because what is Nathan Fillion doing in the meantime?
the Deadpool teaser has 2 Firefly posters in it.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice
Nice.
that.
Yeah, Nathan Fillion tweeted out like, "What the ass?" Like with a picture of 2 Firefly posters in the background,
Nice.
right behind. It's as he's running after he gets in his costume.
Yeah.
You can see the 2.
I'm gonna have to go back and look at it again.
Yeah.
Even though I've
Yeah.
watched that trailer like
Yeah,
4
very,
times now.
very clearly. So,
All right, no, I'm into it.
Yeah.
I'm all over all of it.
Sweet.
yeah.
Maybe
That's like-
maybe
that's
Disney
like
will
my
take
favorite thing
over
about the-
Firefly.
About the AFK bar is their Firefly posters. They've got all the move here posters for Persephone and stuff like that.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
You know,
The different planets or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I was like, sweet.
Yeah.
Well, I think it brings us to the
The
last
Wicca
little
Wicca?
bit of the show.
Wicca
It's a
Wicca?
beer wrap up. Before that, should I say what's coming out next week? I think you should
Yeah,
care
let's get
about.
that out.
Let's just get it out of the way.
I've ruined your show.
Mass
I'm
Effect.
so sorry.
No, it's been awesome. Don't apologize for anything. We love
No,
it.
You just have to come back and do another one.
Yeah, right.
Or we can just crack a beer and do another one right now.
Yeah. Next week we have Mass Effect coming out. I have to pick it up. Because I have to, and I'll let you know. Maybe it won't be the best thing in the world, but I owned the whole set. I put it out here on display. I've played the crap out of them. I'm gonna play it. And the other one, again, I'm gonna mention it. I thought it was Canadian. It's not. Is Power Rangers. That movie comes out. People won't shut up about it. We've had people message us and say they're stoked. So be stoked. Go watch it, I guess. There's already been Power Ranger
to be
movies.
fair,
So.
The generation behind us, that was a big thing.
Oh, no. My brother and sister, when we came home, my mom was really pretty against TV in my house, and you didn't get to watch a lot of TV. And so everybody got like their show to watch. And so I'd sit down and watch whatever I would want to watch, right? Some Disney afternoon thing or something. And my sister would watch, or brother would watch Power Rangers, and then after that would be like Beetleborg or VR Trooper. So any little iteration of Power Rangers, I've seen a ridiculous amount of episodes. So I've seen a lot
so
of
it went
Power
from
Rangers.
Rescue Rangers to Power Rangers.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it totally did. Yes, or
We
Gummy
are
Bears, or whatever I was watching.
Wow, that's
right?
more than I know.
Yeah, that's true though. That's how it was. Yeah, and the Beetleborg one, which was weird. I really swore Beetleborgs was Canadian, and it wasn't. I swore they all were, but
Did they say sorry?
no. Yeah, they should have, right? Yeah,
It was all overdubbed anyway.
yeah,
so
right.
their
the whole
mouth didn't
thing.
move
yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
There was just a lot of this. A lot of head nodding in all those shows. Stick a helmet on them. We don't care who the actor is. So yes, then it does bring us to the other part of the show. Do we just call it the other part? It's not our favorite
part.
or our least favorite, but we got to
It's
wrap
beer
it up.
Wrap up.
Beer wrap up. Wicca wicca. See,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
so
So
you thought these were all like dubbed
obviously,
in
we can
sound
tell who-
effects.
we
This
can-
is all
we can
real
tell-
live right here.
We can tell who liked it the least.
Yeah,
This is my bottle's empty.
yeah,
So is ours.
yeah.
Well, shoot. I do have a really good buzz, so I'm like,
Yeah.
and I was like, Chris Gunn.
9.4%.
I think it's Chris Gunn.
Yeah. You should, if you don't have a buzz, you have a whole nother therapy session.
Yeah,
So,
because I'm overweight.
yeah.
Well, that's not exactly where we're going with that. But if you say so.
Yeah. You take that how you need to, but I would say I think this beer definitely got better as it got warm, or it got better as that 9.4% absorbed in.
I think it's a little bit of both. But as it got warmer, the oak flavor, the vanilla flavor really just seemed to the vanilla flavor really came out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know if I just was like focusing on it.
It's not nearly as harsh.
No, not nearly as harsh at all. The alcohol was kind of offset by the malt, strength of the malt, like, or just how thick the malt was in there. It was pretty good. Pretty heavy malt body. Sweetness came up a little bit, which was not a big thing for me.
It was already so sweet. Could it go any higher?
Then it did. It did a little bit,
right?
But the hot bitter.
Do you have
at
any
the
teeth
end,
left, Josh?
The hot bitter at the end.
I need a brush.
I got teeth, but they're all full of cavities.
Well, I was gonna say the hot bittering at the end, instead of being harsh, it just kind of like mellowed into it, and it was really good. So definitely a better warmer beer.
Yes, I really thought it got a lot better as it warmed up, because when we first started this, it was abrasive. It gave me weird alcohol beer face, and it's not nearly that the way it was before. See, Jeremiah always does the really in-depth rundown where he totally knows what he's talking about, and then we go, yeah, it was good, or it wasn't good.
Yeah. No, I mean, one, I'm not like a total beer snob. Like, I don't have to just have IPAs.
Says the guy with hundreds of
And
dollars
so-
worth of beer cellaring in his garage.
I mean, literally, there's all kinds. There's like stuff with grape musk in it and stuff. Like, it's all kinds of weird stuff from. It's just Dogfish Head.
So
So next time you join us, you're gonna bring some of these.
Yeah, but they might be.
because
They might be
we don't want them to
spoiled.
go bad, right? We're
Hey,
doing
we'll,
you a favor,
we'll tell you if
Josh.
they are.
Yeah,
Yeah. I do want to say at the beginning when I missed the cheers, it's because I was so focused on trying to say Nerdbuzzed
No,
with you
can't-
guys.
Don't wriggle out of it.
I have to, like, I gotta throw that out. Like, I was like, I got it. I said it.
Why do you think
I missed it.
Why do you think we put it in steps?
Yeah.
Because we can't get it out all our,
yeah,
ourselves.
right. Yeah.
So,
You get one more chance.
okay. Oh, good. Good.
We'll let you ring it off this time.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Well,
get your description out there, and then
okay. And then get ready. Okay. So the vanilla though, like,
Yes.
really did get.
no, it really
It
does.
was
Yes.
there. The
It really helped smooth it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's
like
all from that barrel.
this. This would
Of
be
course, you
a
get the
beer that I
bourbon
would
out of
drink
the barrel
again.
amazingly too.
Now you wouldn't when you first started. Would you drink it again?
It
That
was a
first
little
sip?
bit. It was a little bit off-putting at first.
Yeah.
Like,
Abrasive for sure.
but it didn't take it too long that I was like, no, there's like, it was one of those things. It was kind of like almost drinking a wine where you kind of like, you've got to really like, you know, get all your senses going. And then it was like, this is pretty good.
I brewed a 10%, almost 11% actually, blueberry wheat beer. It was beyond a Hefeweizen. I couldn't call it Hefeweizen, but it sat on fresh blueberries. I put blueberries in the boil, and at the very like the last like 3-4 minutes of the boil, I put the blueberries into it, and then I let it go through the primary fermentation, and then the secondary fermentation. I threw a bunch of blueberries on it again. So it had a ton of fresh fruit on it. And that first swig was just the harshest, nastiest alcohol swallow you ever got. And I hated it for that.
Like cough syrup.
It was awful. Everybody
That's
else,
immediately what they made me
everybody
think
loved
of.
this beer. Except me.
It tastes like cherry. It does not taste like cherry.
But I gotta admit, though, I mean, after you take that first swig, it's just awful. Everything washes over you. That second sip, all you taste is the honey and the blueberries.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, this is so much better now.
Yeah.
You know,
I told you guys ahead of time, I had a 120-minute IPA from Dogfish Head last night. And the start of this, I was like, yeah, this tastes kind of like that, where it's just almost, I mean, those things are like 18%.
yeah.
Right? But it never mellowed out. Like, the first time I had that, we ate it with a ginger snap sundae. That's what they recommend pairing it with. I was like, this is really good. By itself, it wasn't like, I was expecting to like, oh, this is the best thing I've ever had. I literally was like looking for chips. As soon as I found chips, I was like, oh, I can finally taste the other parts of this beer, because it was literally just alcohol. That was it. That was like literally all I tasted. So
Hey man,
So what you were
every
saying
superhero
about-
needs a sidekick.
that's
sometimes.
right. That's right.
So what you were saying about cellaring it there actually makes sense, because the alcohol, the harshness of the alcohol, will mellow over time, and that's something that the other flavors will.
Allows them to move to the forefront.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Allows them to come out up front, and then, like I said, just smooth it out, mellow it a little bit, and that's what aging will do for you.
Yeah.
And I've actually got one of those excesses right up there that I'm selling.
which was a barley wine. That's the one I was specifically talking about at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
That I went because I've had barley wines and they kind of scare me, and I love the percentage. They got the right numbers. I can agree with that, but they're really sweet and hard to drink. And that, if you ever get a chance to have one of those, we'll show you the bottle later. But that is so good. That was hands down the best barley wine I've ever had because it didn't taste like a barley wine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The only one I've had is from Old Schoolhouse. Is their barley wine, and it was good.
Yeah,
it was good.
And
so
they for me anyway, they tend to be really, just really over the top with the alcohol, and they almost have like a
I want to guess what he's gonna say next.
No, almost like a sauerkraut.
Oh, I said it. That's the beer talking. Sorry,
but you know what I'm saying, like a sauerkraut flavor.
Yeah.
It's like just this, they have this soured, fermented, just really rich malt flavors. Like you could have gotten I understand this is 14%, but you could have gotten 19 out of this way it tastes. You know.
Oh yeah. The attenuated.
Yeah,
the famous word that we like to use. Yeah,
it's fully attenuated. Yes.
Yeah.
Means it's been fully fermented out.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
but I mean, I understand holding it back or only pitching a yeast that can go to a certain alcohol level to get some of those other stuff, because you get different mouthfeel and different flavors from it that way.
Yeah.
But
I guess we didn't really talk about this one, but I think the mouthfeel on this is actually not bad at all.
Oh, no, not bad at all.
It's really actually nice and light on your tongue.
It is, but it has a pretty good thick feel in the middle there.
Yeah.
And if you,
that's what she said.
It's pretty viscous. I mean, it sticks to the glass pretty good.
Yeah.
It's got good fingers.
Yep. Yeah. See, nice. I like that you just keep it going.
Yeah.
So
no, that's a wine term.
Okay.
They call it fingers when it runs down the
legs.
Oh,
fingers,
shoot.
legs.
No, see,
that's the beer talking.
I knew you.
Son of a.
And he totally gave me a look when I said, right?
Yeah.
You were right
Anyway.
there.
It was the beer.
It's the legs. It's got good legs.
Yeah. So
everybody loves good legs.
I'm just gonna excuse myself.
So if you have to put a number on it, which we have to do, it's our favorite part to put a number on something.
Freaking fingers.
If you got to do it right, yeah. You did it, dude. You figured it.
I know.
Yeah.
Wow. Where's the HD Rumble?
Start with balls and with fingers. Wow.
Let's just get back to the Switch.
Yeah, right.
It's out of control. 9.4.
Isn't that where it started?
Oh yeah. It did.
Full
I'm so
circle.
sorry.
I like it. Bring it full circle.
Yeah.
It's all relevant.
Yep.
I really think. Again, it's hard to judge because it's such a weird, obscure category, right?
I'm going straight good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just gonna go with a 7.
Yep.
Solid 7.
I'm going solid 7.
I'm gonna give it a 6. I'm gonna go 6.25.
Oh jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
We'll teeter on some good there.
I'm gonna go with 8 because I mean, you asked me what kind of flavor ice cream I want. I'm gonna say vanilla every time.
Okay.
The vanilla flavors came through so strong and so well after this got a little warmer.
They do.
That I was like,
it's all you can
this
smell,
is this is like dessert.
That's why I gave it a 6.25 because I lack the patience that you have. I would have drank more of this from the beginning, so I wouldn't have gotten as much
numbers.
of that. Yeah, numbers.
Yeah.
I do think if we would have just blind grabbed off the shelf, I probably would have grabbed this one.
Because of numbers.
Yeah, because I have the number magic for some reason.
But it wasn't just the vanilla too. It was almost like 3 levels of you could get.
Oh, there's definitely caramel in there.
Yeah, there was more, like when I stopped,
and just a really strong, just malt sweet.
Yeah, when I stopped talking and actually drank, I was like,
when
like
did you do that?
literally, I know, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, but like I was like, there's a lot. This is a complex flavor, so and I like it.
Do you do hard alcohols at all?
Yeah, for sure. I do Scotch.
Like Scotch. Okay,
yeah.
So a good Scotch, once that smoky peatiness has fallen off, and I can say this now because I've actually been introduced to real Scotches.
Yeah.
In the last week or two.
Lagavulin, is that how you say it?
I'm not sure.
That's my favorite, and it doesn't go away. The smoky peat flavor doesn't go away. It's Ron Swanson's favorite.
Oh, okay. I've not had that one.
It's like biting a log.
I've only delved into a couple of the good Scotches. My other experiences are the cheaper blended ones, which I was like, screw Scotch. I don't like Scotch. Because I hadn't had the right ones.
Yeah.
But like I said, you get that real good smoky peatiness to it, but that sweetness that settles in at the very end that they have, and I don't know what that is, but that's this this carries that.
It really did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not an alcoholic. I don't go to meetings. I just want to get that out there.
Is that what
So-
decides it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you go to a meeting, you
Yeah.
have a problem?
Yeah. So as
Okay.
long as you stay
I
away
thought it
from
was
those
once you
meetings,
did it all by
kids.
yourself.
No.
Isn't that the first step?
I
Would
don't.
it be when it's not a social thing?
The thing is, look, they say you're an alcoholic if you denial's the first sign, right? Well, like
I thought it was when you swallowed your Listerine after swishing it.
that could. I mean, I have a hard time not eating my hand sanitizer, but you know,
Yeah, right?
I really
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
want to talk about that openly.
Yeah.
I'm just cleaning my tongue. What?
Yeah.
Doesn't everyone do that?
Everything should be sanitary. Inside and out. Oh my god. Before it gets too much worse and we reveal too many of our secrets.
Are we cheersing again?
Yep,
'Cause
we
I wanna
always
make
wrap it up with the cheers.
Okay.
Are
I
you ready
do
for it this
listen.
time?
Yeah, I can barely hold my glass, but I'm good.
Kick us
So
off.
chime in on the last part. Or
Okay.
Start us off.
Okay, to all the nerds,
Through all the fuzz.
bottoms up. Let's get nerd buzzed. Hey, I didn't screw it up.
You can add one
took a bit
thing
of
to the
coaching,
not
but we
screwed
got
up
you there.
list, right? Yeah. Well, thanks, Josh, for joining us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come back
Thank
again
you.
sometime.
Okay.
At N64 Josh.
I'll try not to talk too much.
It's all
I got
right.
some fun.
It wasn't me this time. Yeah.